Good morning. We are live. We're coming from St. Louis, Missouri, South County. How are you this morning? My record button wasn't hit, so you missed all of that. Now we're just coming back online. That's good. How are you this morning? I'll tell you what. I think we're gonna have a good show this morning. You ever get? I don't. Let's not jinx it. I guess is where I'm at now. We should have a good show, but who knows? Who knows? I have been. What have I been doing? I don't know. Been lunching a lot lately. Today will be my third consecutive lunch where I'm going out to meet peeps, doing business. The mask mandate is over in the county. Mask mandate is over in the city, so we no longer have the awkwardness of having to wear masks. We walk into the restaurant only to take them off when we go inside. Now, as far as I know, well, let me just say that I did go to a restaurant yesterday and I did see people wearing masks, and I think that's their right. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you want to wear a hat, wear a hat. I'm not interested in getting involved in your mix. But don't tell me what I need to do, because that irritates me. That irritates me a lot. So yesterday was a very productive day. I had a good podcast. I got some Deerwood Realty clips up. There's other things I could have been doing and probably should have been doing. But it is what it is. The weekend looks like it's going to be full of showings. I did set a couple showings for this weekend, and it definitely, the market has improved for me because there's more houses to see. The inventory for me, at least for my buyers, has gotten better in the past 2 weeks than it's been in a long time, so that we can at least go to see properties. For instance, one of my good friends that I'm showing houses to right now, they would get in their notice, they would get a new house every, I would say every 2 weeks. They have a very specific search. So about every 2 weeks, they would get one property, and out of that one property, it may not even be close to what they want. And so then you go to something like the last 2 weekends, and there's been about 4 or 5, which is a lot more. This one couple, sweet young couple, they're going to find a house. I mean, we're going to be writing an offer on something. They're ready to go. They can afford it. Have a pre-approval letter. I mean, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So, looking forward to seeing that. Podcast yesterday went real good in search. Like it performed well for me. Live streaming is not doing very well. Not as well as I'd hoped, being that there's like nobody in the chat right now to live stream. But I'm just going to keep doing it. I'll do it for a year, and if no one shows up for a live stream in a year, I guess that means I'm not good at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not good at it, but I never get a chance because I never get to chat with anybody because there's never anybody in the chat. There's never anybody here. I don't know why. I don't know what I do to turn off viewers, but it is what it is. I do think that it's the time of day. And that's why I am going to put out a new live stream soon in the evenings called The Nature of Employment. Bad idea probably for me because it's going to take more time than I don't have. But I do like the live streaming. There's something about it I like. It's sort of like, do you have things that you want to tell people and yet there's no one to tell because you're sitting at your house staring at a wall? Well, welcome to the internet. You can tell everybody everything. Now, I don't go out of my way to say stupid things, I hope. I think everybody does, and I don't want to attack people too much. We are going to go over some things today that are confusing to me, and that's that. So, shall we get into it? I get stuck in this spot where either I run like a very straight you know, very straight broadcast, or I have a fun one. And I never know what's going to happen because I never know how I'm going to take the information. But I think we have some serious topics. I think that makes it tough. You can't very well, how do I say it? You can't very well be funny about serious topics. So like when someone dies, writing a bunch of jokes about somebody dying or saying a bunch of things about somebody dying, it's just too soon. It's not funny. I make fun of Benny Goodwin, but he's been dead for like, I don't even know. I didn't even look. Been dead for a while. Stan Kenton, dead. Like, long time. Now, this is not to, oddly enough, it's not to mock Stan Kenton or Benny Goodwin. It's to remember them, hopefully bringing their name to a new generation of fans and friends. To just never have your name uttered again after you're dead seems sad, right? Like, my uncle is dead. I don't know how long it's been since he's been alive. I don't remember. But no one else is going to talk about him because he's gone. There's no subject matter there for anyone else. They can't have known him. So in this sense, we have a period of quiet and calm. And then I think any sort of reference for the dead would be reverence. I'm not for every once in a while there'll be somebody attack a dead body. Like, I've seen that in foreign countries. It's no good. No good there. But definitely think it's worth bringing up people that are long gone. Is it humorous? Yes, because it's a time context. Like applying people, and look, this is the absurdity of the quiet culture, or the cancel culture, or the reframing history. History is written by those people who won. And so when you go and you bring people from the past and you put them in this space, it's ridiculous, and you see it immediately. The only thing that may not be true is when you get these people that write and they try to change history by invoking the dead in their history. So it goes something like this. So say someone dies. So let's say John McCain dies. Okay, he's dead. What'll happen is people in the Senate, people, in his family that are politically motivated will say things like, if my father was here, or if my friend senator was here, this is what he would do. Well, how are you going to argue against it? No, he wouldn't. It's like, and then they claim the high ground because they have some sort of ownership of the narrative. And I think that's sick. But I also understand the sentiment behind it. For instance, like, let's say you have for me, like my grandparents, dead, all of them dead. Well, you have these moments in your life where you're like, well, what would this person have done in this situation? Realistically, like, how would this have worked out? What would they have done? Like right now, with gasoline on the rise, with inflation just crushing the middle class, and I'm in the middle class, so I'm being crushed. My grandmother was born and lived during the Depression, and it had an impact on her entire life. And she did not do a lot of things that I do. Especially with regards to food. Her and my aunt would cook food for like dinner, and you'd eat it again for lunch the next day, and you'd eat it again for dinner the next day if you didn't eat all of it at lunchtime. There's no wasted food. That did not happen. You did not buy anything if it wasn't on sale. You did not. There's just all these rules that went according to that, and it's kind of like it applies. In some ways it doesn't. They didn't have cell phones. Just never came about. So that's one way in which I see people invoke the dead in a way that they're doing it to try and frame an argument that they can in a way that they can understand it. So that's where I'm at. Is it going to be now? I'm 10 minutes into the show. It's not fun, not funny. We're not laughing. So is that going to change? I don't know. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like we're going to have a serious one. I've been going back and looking at all my shows and trying to put together a clips channel. And is it a learning experience? Yes. I'm not nearly as terrible as I think I am. But the reason why I think I'm terrible is because I don't have anybody in my stream. So how do I know? It's like, I don't know, it's strange. It's strange. I'm gonna let that go. I wanted to go over some topics, some serious topics, I guess. I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna go here, and this is the guy. Like, let me preface this. This is the guy that's running DuckDuckGo. Okay, and I switched over. Like, Google was censoring search results, censoring search topics, and I didn't think that was very good. If something if something is quote unquote wrong, think it's now made as to be disinformation. And then so if it's disinformation, it's intentionally wrong, but that's not the case for the most part. Now, is there propaganda? Yes, but it's on both sides. So I was not a fan of Google changing my search results based on, if let's just say, like, I'm interested in the war. Okay, I'm interested in learning about the war. And I also searched for cat videos. Okay, my search results now are different because I searched cat videos. I don't need that. I also don't need trusted sources, quote unquote, which are not trusted, to be ranked higher than anybody else. Like, if the New York Times, for instance, writes a story about the Ukraine, okay, they will be ranked higher than a person that is sitting on the ground in Ukraine. This doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you've got a first-person account, someone who's there, and they say, well, they're not a journalist. Yeah, well, neither is the New York Times. It hasn't been a journalist for at least, gosh, in my lifetime. I don't think it has been. And if you go back to their wonderful war coverage of the Spanish-American War, or the war in Spain, World War I, around that time, not good. Not good. I wouldn't give them any more credence than I give the person that's actually sitting on the ground being bombed. So anyway, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I understand people don't understand the power of technology like they should. And I'm a little confused by that. I don't understand how you don't see this coming. But when you have the ability to censor the information for the masses, then you can kind of spin your own lies, and you can create your own narratives that are counter to truth. Like, so if I see something in front of me, it is true. It's happening. Now, my interpretation of it can be different than someone else's. Like, for instance, I've got a cup here. If it hits me in the side of the head right now, it happened. Okay, it happened to me. I know what happened. I was sitting right here. It hit me in the head. Now, if someone else wants to say that it didn't really hit me in the head, or if someone wants to say that the glass, it hit you on the head for a good reason or something like that, that's your interpretation of what happened. But I'm sitting right here and I saw it happen. It hit me. I'm feeling the results of it. They can change that, and they can make it seem like things aren't real. They can move things around, and I'm not for that. I'm not for that. Now, should there be censorship? In some ways, yes, there should be censorship. I agree with that, but that should be, to me, based on like age and some sort of agreement. Like, I don't think kiddie porn is ever okay. I mean, I think that's a fair thing to censor. So I mean, does that make me a free speech absolutist? No, I guess not. But when we're talking about things that can be easily propagandized, like the war, then I think that we should have all of the information available to us, and I think it should not be manipulated in such a way that it's being, how do I put it? I don't like the search being manipulated. Now you could say, John, these algorithms are intentionally manipulating the data so that they will bring you the most relevant data to you. So that's a good thing, right? No, not really. I mean, we talked about like Facebook. I have friends that are on Facebook. I don't see any of their posts. And if I do see it, it's like 7 days later. So that's not good. Doesn't, and believe me, there's not a whole lot of posts on there that make it like that they should have been number one based on my interests, because I really don't even like Facebook. So I moved from Google to DuckDuckGo because they're not tracking you. And I thought that they were not manipulating the search. Well, that has changed. And so now I have to change all my browsers to something else. There's two problems. One, well, we'll get into it. But first of all, if you've gone from Google to DuckDuckGo, the quality of the search is terrible. Okay. The only reason why I was at DuckDuckGo was because I didn't particularly like the idea that they were manipulating my search results at Google for political purposes. That I felt was wrong. But I was willing to put up with the crap at DuckDuckGo because it wasn't Google. And now, having gotten to this point, it's such a terrible, I mean, now I'm doing bad search and my search results are being manipulated, which makes me really not interested in DuckDuckGo. Let me read what this is the president or something. It's on Twitter today. It says, like so many others, I am sickened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the gigantic humanitarian crisis it continues to create. You can be upset. I'm not giving you permission, but I can totally understand someone being upset for another nation invading a sovereign country. I have no problem with that. Okay? That's fine. We have no problem there. At DuckDuckGo, we've been rolling out search updates that downrank sites associated with Russian disinformation. That's not okay. That crosses the line. How do you know it's disinformation? There are things that have come up recently that have been said are disinformation, and they aren't disinformation. They turn out to be absolutely correct. And this has happened many, many, many times. And I can't talk about most of the things because I don't want to get thrown off of YouTube. So I don't know what to do. That's where I'm at. Okay. So it says, in addition to downranking sites associated with disinformation, we also often place news modules and information boxes at the top of DuckDuckGo's research results, where they are seen and clicked the most to highlight quality information for rapidly unfolding topics. I don't have any interest in that. And it says DuckDuckGo's mission is to make simple privacy protection accessible to all. Privacy is a human right and transcends politics, which is why 100 million people around the world use DuckDuckGo. We don't have an exact count since we don't track people. So this statement is false. It may be their mission to make simple privacy protection accessible to all, but it's maybe that privacy is a human right and transcends politics. But disinformation, your belief of disinformation is not mine. It's not mine. I want to be able to determine what I see. I don't want you involved. And so I have to leave DuckDuckGo today. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm not going back to Google. I'm not going to be at DuckDuckGo. I might be at Brave, and I saw that there's one that just started. It's called Ahrefs, or I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I read that just before I came on. I can't believe how people can be so smart, and I mean that. I mean, really, this is a very smart fellow. Okay, how he can be so smart and yet not figure out what goes on, like the real world. Let me put forth one scenario that's my explanation for the real world versus this concept of disinformation. Let's just say that people at the CIA, people in government, everyday people, even, it doesn't have to be that great. Let's just say though that the CIA or the department, the State Department wants to put forth a narrative. Well, how would they do that? Well, they would go and they would report. They would go to their friends at the New York Times, Washington Post, and they would say, "Hey, you might want to write a story about this." And then when the reporter says, "Can we use you as a source?" they would say, "No, no. You'd be a source who wished to remain anonymous." And now we can write whatever story we want to under the cover of anonymous sources. That's how it works. That's the game. So to influence you, the public, the government, simply goes to the press and gives them information. And it happens all the time. Now, to me, acceptance of that is okay. I accept that the news that I read is not always accurate because it's being fed to me in a way that I'm supposed to evoke an emotion to me. Okay. But then I also believe that the press's job is to write articles that attack the credibility of those sources when they're wrong, to actually do investigative reporting. We've lost that in the United States. We don't investigate anything. Government gives the talking points to the reporter puts it down, and you go on to the next day. You write the story about what for instance, right now, if the press secretary of the United States says something, it's unchallenged. It's unchallenged in the major papers. If and then you say, well, there's fact checkers. Well, the fact checkers are designed specifically to prop up those who they think are important. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke. And so the only way to combat all of that is to have robust, rich search results that are not tinged by the algorithms these people create that cause the information to go away. So will I get to moving from DuckDuckGo today? Probably not, but I hope to. I'm done. And now you have to say, well, what if they make a statement and they say, come back, we're sorry about what we did? It's too late. It's too late. They are big on privacy, and that's fine. But I'm not interested in my search results being manipulated in such a way that they can decide what is and is not disinformation. Again, there's things right now that are happening. It's March 10th, 2022. I literally cannot say them on YouTube that are examples of this disinformation harming the American public, and it's the suppression of information, creating disinformation. It's just terrible. So I will be moving. Like I said, I think I'll be moving to Brave. I don't want to. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to move to a different search engine. But I can't stay here. I can't stay on DuckDuckGo. Now it's going to be a pain to change everything over, yes. And I should not have put their little browser add-on on, so I'm going to have to take that off. And I'm going to have to find the settings for the browser, which I don't, or for the search, which I don't like. But it's what it is. Now, do I still use Google? Yes, because sometimes the searches are so terrible on other platforms. I got nothing. And they're pretty bad on DuckDuckGo, I'll be honest. They're not great. I'm not missing much by leaving, to be honest. So just wanted to put that out there. Let's move on. I wanted to talk about something that has affected me. And that is, I wrote an article. I don't know if you have it up on the screen. Yeah, I wrote an article, a blog post. I have not been blogging for 2 years. I just don't have time, and I think that people would rather see video now, and this is the reason why I do. But anyway, this ranked very high in Google and ranked pretty well everywhere. And it's a blog post I wrote that said, "As a real estate agent, have you ever been ghosted?" Okay, and then I go with kind of how it works, like, and I like, for instance, here's the basis of the story. Let's say somebody calls you and they're like, "Hey, I'm interested in looking at a house." And you're like, "Hey, let's put something together." And you work and they get their credit and everything together, their mortgage application, pre-qualifications all ready to go, and they're out ready to look at houses. You go look at 2 houses, and all of a sudden the person disappears for whatever reason. But they disappear. It's total ghosting. And my question was simply asked, as a real estate agent, have you ever been ghosted? And it doesn't generate that many comments. Blog posts have not typically been doing that lately. But I got a response yesterday, a new comment, and says, "I just ghosted our awful agent. I'm not ashamed at all and not one to ghost people. The woman knows what she did and knows she didn't deserve another moment of my time." I think there are a lot of bad realtors out there, and this probably happens to them frequently. And so in this particular case, I just read it to you because it's in my email, and I don't know if I have, I don't know. Like I'm a boomer, I guess. I don't know if you can steal stuff from me if I put my email out there. So I don't, like, for that Twitter, I don't know if you can hack into that. I apologize for my ignorance, and if it comes back to bite me, then I guess I'll learn my lesson. But this would be a cause for being ghosted. I'm not ashamed at all and not one to ghost people. This woman knows what she did and knows she doesn't deserve another moment of my time. I think there are a lot of bad realtors out there, and this probably happens to them frequently. Well, am I a bad? And I'll comment on this one because I think it's interesting, but am I a bad real estate agent? I mean, have I been ghosted because I'm a bad real estate agent or I did something untoward? I wasn't really looking at it from that perspective in my when I wrote the article. I was putting forth from my perspective how it's weird when people disappear. I think there's, and I mean, here's what I think. I think that when you go with somebody and you like them, like you like the agent, you like what they're doing, and you disappear all of a sudden, that's not on the agent. That's something's on your end, which is totally fine. Understand. I'm not criticizing that. It's just that's the way I put it together. In this case, she's saying I ghosted my agent because they were terrible, and I don't have a problem with that either. But the idea that there's a lot of terrible agents out there, I don't know if there are or not. I mean, I just know there's a lot of agents. Like, there's a lot. I had a listing in my neighborhood I didn't even get a call for, and they're going to list the house way low, and they're doing it so that they can get more people to buy it, but it's just a stupid concept. And it's just embarrassing. But that's fine. Let it be that way. Let it be that way. They'll get what they want, I guess. So anyway, I will respond to this. I will respond to this in the way I just explained to you, that I was not thinking about it in this particular way. But okay. Now, contrast that or compare that to what. Now I got to find it, please. Okay. So we did that. Now, I did a podcast on a story out of Miami. Let me look at see if you're still there. A story out of Miami about code enforcement. And the main point of the code enforcement was they were no longer going to allow anonymous code enforcement. So it used to be like, say your neighbor's grass in Florida, say your neighborhood is statewide, your neighbor's grass is too tall. Well, you call up and then they say, okay, well, what's your name and what's your name and address? Okay. And it used to be, you say, well, I'd prefer to be anonymous. And they say, okay, well, they would still file the report. Now, if you refuse to give your name and address, they will not file a report, and then therefore code enforcement will not go there. And the rationale behind it, or the reasoning behind it, was that it's basically tying up the officer's time, that they're investigating calls that they shouldn't be investigating because they're wasting their time is being wasted on bogus claims. The counter to that argument is neighbors should reasonably expect to be how do I put it, targeted if they did make a complaint. So let's say I make a complaint against my neighbor, and my neighbor has a car in his front drive that has not moved in 3 days. So I call the code enforcement and I say, I live at this address, my name is this. My neighbor across the street from me has a car that's been in the drive for 3 days. I want it moved. Okay. Well, then now when the officer goes to move the car or have it towed or something, the person knows exactly who did it. This is different than, for instance, I had a situation very similar to that where someone in my immediate area ratted me out on a car that I was trying to get fixed in time. And I had a license plate on the back bumper, but not the front. And they were all about, getting rid of it. I never found out who it was. I have a good idea who it is, but I don't know for certain. So that being the case, I can't go out of my way to make it miserable on them. This is me. I feel like I'm a pretty rational thinker. So that was the idea. It was a very chilling effect on the thing. I think the majority of people would be much more likely to make an anonymous complaint than one where they put their name to it. It's just me. But here's what I got as a comment underneath on the video. It says, you people in Florida had better love your neighbor and be good to each other according to the time you have left. Because according to what scientists are now saying, the state of Florida is heading in the same way as Atlantis. In a few years, the entire state will be underwater, especially Miami Beach. This has been proven by the many sinkholes around the state. And I haven't responded to the comment because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Google says hey, or, YouTube says you got to respond to your comments. It helps your videos. It helps things. And so it's like, what do I, and so we get, as creators, we get the heart button. If I put a heart button there, I feel like I'm emphasizing that I believe with this person's lunacy. Now, I don't dispute that the water levels could rise or anything like that, but it's not the point of the video, right? It's not the point of the video. Code enforcement, anonymous or not, has nothing to do with sinkholes and water levels rising to bury Florida. So what do I do? I mean, how do I respond to that? You should put that in the chat. Oh, that's right. So it's weird. If I made a comment there, would it grow my channel? No, I don't think. So it's best to leave it alone, but it feels weird. Is that person a subscriber? Would I give more weight to a subscriber? Yes, definitely. Definitely I would. So, if you guys have any ideas, that'd be great. I'm going to keep going. Let's get into Google Trends. Kelley Clarkson's. Now, we read an article just last week that Kelley Clarkson wants to be known as Kelly Bennett. Okay? But apparently no one else wants to call her that. And so it says, Kelley Clarkson will pay ex-husband Brandon Blackstock over $1.3 million in divorce settlement. The pop star will also reportedly have to pay $45,000 a month in child support for their 2 children. Well, that seems odd. So the article, it starts off with Kelley Clarkson. Again, she decided that she wanted to be Kelly Bennett, but I guess it didn't stick. It says, we'll have, they're reported to come to a settlement in their divorce, which will include a huge payment from the pop star to her one-time manager. My own thinking in this, Just a note of caution as a 44-year-old. I've seen this movie play out time and time again. You should not date or marry your manager, ever. It doesn't work. Okay? There. So, it says, according to the blast, Clarkson will make a one-time... Now, we don't know that this is real. One-time tax-free payment of $1.3 million to her ex-husband as part of the settlement, on top of ongoing monthly child support payments of $45,601 for their 2 children. I like that it's a tax-free payment. Someone's paying the tax. And it says the couple has also agreed to joint custody of their kids, who will live primarily with Clarkson in Los Angeles. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to fight their. I don't know. It's weird. So it says the agreement also stipulates that both their children will be vaccinated against COVID, an issue connected to the travel back and forth to see their father out of state. Blackstock is living in the former ranch in Montana, former couple's ranch in Montana. As part of the agreement, the children will apply private until they are fully vaccinated, and Clarkson agreed to make a $50,000 reimbursement payment to her ex for the children's private air travel. The singer got the ranch and another Montana property in the settlement, but they agreed that Blackstock can stay at the ranch until June as he searches for his own home, and he will pay Clarkson $2,000 a month in rent. However, Clarkson will also have to pay her ex-husband $150,000 a month in spousal support until January 31st, 2024. The sum is slightly lower than the reported $150,000 in spousal support that Clarkson was ordered to pay in July of last year. Now, look, this is millionaires fighting. None of this happens in my life. My kids don't fly private. I can't even, we don't get tax-free settlements for $1.5 million. We don't get to do any of this. This is not my life. And for those of you, and this is me, for those of you who think that Kelley Clarkson or Kelly Bennett is anything like you anymore, you're nuts. You're nuts. She's living the life. You're not. It says the pair will have also divided up a number of their shared assets. Clarkson will keep the family pets, a flight simulator, as well as a number of their cars, namely a pickup truck, Ford Bronco, F-250, and Porsche Cayenne, and all guns acquired prior and during the marriage. So great. Blackstock, on the other hand, will take possession of their farm cattle, livestock, stock dogs, and horses on their F-250, a Ford F-350, an ATV, and several Cat snowmobiles. He's also keeping a golf simulator and a couple of very pricey Patek Philippe watches. I don't know if I said it right, and I don't really care. But again, fighting over stuff that the normal human being in America, the middle-class person, is not fighting over, because their lives are nothing like this. Clarkson filed divorce in June of 2020 after nearly 7 years of marriage. In July, she requested to be declared legally single, as they continue to hash out the details of the division of their assets, arguing they both deserve the opportunity to build a new life. According to court documents obtained to Us Weekly at the time, the singer was reportedly granted that request in September. According to blast sources, both sides are happy with the divorce settlement and ready to move on with their lives. Well, I mean, if they weren't happy, would it make any difference? I mean, really. I mean, it doesn't matter. So, anyway, people that say that Kelley Clarkson's just like them need to really revisit their thinking. This had 200,000 searches. I have not read it, and I don't know. And I picked the most boring source I could find quickly. Did you ever see that movie in IMAX? They used to have this. I don't know if they still have IMAX, but it's this thing, and it's like the screen, and it's like all around you, and it's immersive. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if it still exists. But anyway, it was about this Earnest Shackleton. I don't know if you ever... Shackleton, I guess, based on this. But I need to get a drink. Something about this guy went to Antarctica or something. And they had to leave the ship, and he somehow made it, I think. or somebody else made it. I don't remember the whole story. I apologize. But anyway, let's take a look at this. I've got this huge advertisement thing here. So I'm sorry about that, but it says researchers have discovered the remarkably well-preserved wreck of polar explorer Ernest Shackleton's ship Endurance in 10,000. See how I said square feet there? I'm just used to it. Of icy water, a century after it was swallowed up by the Antarctic ice during what proved to be one of the most heroic expeditions in history. Now, I suspect that's true, but I suspect that in the day in which we live now, that he needs to be canceled for some reason. That his accomplishments need to be diminished in every way possible. It says, a team of marine archaeologists, engineers, and other scientists use an icebreaker ship and underwater drones to locate the wreck at the bottom of the Weddell Sea near the Antarctica Peninsula. The Falcons Maritime Heritage Trust search expedition Endurance 2.2 announced the discovery on Wednesday. Images and video of the wreck showed the three-masted wooden ship in pristine condition with gold letters reading Endurance still affixed to the stern and the ship's lacquered wooden helm still standing upright, as if the captain may return to steer it at any time. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I believe he's dead. It says, this is by far the finest wooden shipwreck I've ever seen, said Missouri Bound, the director of the exploration. Bound noted the wreck is still upright, clear of the seabed, and in a brilliant state of preservation. Now, it's at the bottom of the ocean. So, like, it's not really in pristine condition to me. But I don't know if you remember when they found the Titanic. Like, it was just all strewn across it was terrible. It says the discovery is a Titanic find in one of the world's most see how they invoked Titanic there? One of the most challenging environments, said maritime historian Stephen Schwenkert, who was not involved in the expedition. They're like, hey, Stephen, what do you think about this? Hey, it's pretty cool, man. Put me in the article. It says the combination of deep, dark waters, no sunlight penetrates to 10,000 feet, frigid temperatures, and sea ice have frustrated past efforts to find Endurance, but also explained why the wreck is in such good condition today. The bottom of the sea is a very inhospitable environment for just about everything, especially the kind of bacteria, mites, and wood-eating worms that would otherwise enjoy munching on a wooden shipwreck. It said the expedition Endurance 2.2 embarked from Cape Town, South Africa in early February in a ship capable of breaking through 3-foot ice. The team, which included more than 100 researchers and crew members, deployed underwater drones that combed the seafloor for 2 weeks in the area where the ship was recorded to have sunk in 1915. Okay. It says we have made polar history with the discovery of the Endurance and successfully completed the world's most challenging shipwreck search. Okay, said expedition leader John Shears. Now, we've had like 3 people now that are all the heads of something. Now, how many people can say in their lifetime they've made polar history? It says the British explorer Shackleton never achieved his ambition to become the first person to cross Antarctica via the South Pole. In fact, he never set foot on the continent. Despite being designed to resist condition with ice flows and to break through pack ice, Endurance could not withstand being crushed by heavy sea ice. Shackleton himself noted the difficulty of the endeavor in his diary. The end came about 5 p.m. She was doomed. No ship built by human hands could have withstood the strain. Like, this dude was in a wooden boat trying to break through ice in 1915. And he's like, hey, it's not working very well. Like, I'm putting this in my diary because I can't tweet it, but this may have been a bad idea. Okay, it says before the ship disappeared 3,000 meters below icy waters, Shackleton's crew loaded food and other provisions into 3 lifeboats to escape and set up camp on ice floes where they used sled dogs to carry their provisions, according to the diary. Now this is just me. Like your ship, like the good ship that's designed to break the ice, okay? And not break the ice like, go to an event and like say, mingle and do small talk. This is like actually break through the ice. And he's like, hey man, this boat's not going very well. Like I think it's going to sink. Okay. And so he's the captain of the ship. And so his crew is like, okay, well, what do we do? He's like, well, let's put everything into lifeboats and then we'll use those. Now, if you're a crew member at that point in time, you're probably thinking, hey, man, seriously? Like, our good boat doesn't make it through the ice, and yet we're going to go on this boat? It doesn't make any sense. But look, maybe it did in 1915. It says Shackleton and his captain then sailed across 800 miles of treacherous icy waters in a 22-foot ship to the island of South Georgia, a remote whaling community, to get help. That successful trip is considered a heroic feat of fortitude, and Shackleton's decisive response to imminent tragedy is still held up today as a model of how to lead in difficult circumstances. So here I'm wrong, I guess. See, maybe it was a great idea to have a small ship in this particular area. I don't know. It says Shackleton was very good at planner and good improviser. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Shackleton was very good at planner and good improviser. I have a feeling that the polar explorers of today would not survive the same kinds of things he endured. This is from Anna Whalen, a polar researcher at the University of Gothenburg, which I don't know where that is, who just returned from a 2-month mission studying ice shelves, I don't know what those are, and warming ocean currents in Antarctica. In Antarctica, everything is gray or white, and after only a few weeks, explorers start to miss smelling earth, walking in the forest, which I don't do now, hearing birds chirp, seeing things that are green, she said. The expedition of fine endurance comes a century after Shackleton's death in 1922. British historian and broadcaster Dan Snow, who accompanied the researchers, tweeted that the wreck's discovery on Saturday happened 100 years to the day since Shackleton was buried. Well, that was nice to kind of link something together. It says, the ship is protected as a historic monument under the 6-decade-old Antarctic Treaty that is intended to protect the region's environment. 6 decades is 60 years. It says researchers filmed the wreck, but nothing was discovered or disturbed. Instead, expedition organizers say they want to use laser scans to create a 3D model of the ship that can be displayed in both traveling exhibits and a permanent museum exhibit. Shackleton, we like to think, would have been proud of us, the exposition bound wrote in a blog post. I don't know if he would have been proud of you. Remember what we were talking about earlier in the show is like, we take somebody and then we're like, hey, they would have thought this, but they're dead, so they can't speak for themselves. Like, do you really think that Shackleton, okay? And I'm not trying to diminish anyone, but the man was stuck in the ice in Antarctica, okay, and thought he was going to die, and he lived. And do you really think that he's like, hey, someday they're going to make a traveling museum exhibit out of me? Like, that's how I will live forever? I don't know. I don't feel like that's the way he wanted to go out. I don't know. What do you think? All right, let's get to some real estate. Chandler, Arizona, suburb of Phoenix. I did not know that when I was looking. We're going to look at some houses, 3 of them. Let me go through the 3. One is listed by Sotheby's, one's Keller Williams, and one is by Home Centric. Now I'm going to just do 3. This new construction, I don't like new construction, so we won't do it. Let's look at the first house, and let's hope that our format is better than yesterday, because the Lubbock, Texas thing really upset me. There we go. See, nice, normal. That was terrible yesterday. Okay. 42 pictures, 19 days on the market, 3-car garage, built in 2020. Property history, literally sold in 2020, listed 2 years later. $2.85 million purchased for, trying to sell it for $4 million. Seemed about right. Fly in and park your plane in your private hangar. This beautiful Fort custom home has 4,513 square feet on one level, with private 3,762 square feet air-conditioned airplane hangar. The taxi's right onto the stellar runway. I don't know if it's a stellar, like if that's the name or if that's like with the description. Retractable batting cage, bar, and basketball court is the ultimate man cave. The kitchen is appointed with Sub-Zero Wolf appliances, including built-in espresso maker, dual cove dishwashers, and dining space has built-in Sub-Zero wine fridge. 3-car gar, I'm guessing that's garage. Outdoor kitchen with pizza oven, heated pool, jacuzzi, fireplace. This exquisite home features dual master bedrooms, guest suite, formal office, and game room. The open floor plan has 18-foot ceilings with floating box beam ceiling treatments, towering gas linear fireplace in the main room is the centerpiece of the living area, close to renowned shopping, restaurants, entertainment, and schools. I'm going to use the word renowned in my next listing. So that doesn't look like an airport hangar. Like if you look at, like Hoovie's garage, like he's got his stuff stored in an aircraft hangar, some of it, and it looks like one. This doesn't. 3.9 million. I mean, it looks pretty cool. Now, look at that outdoor space. Just between you and me. This is not a criticism as much as it's just an observation. Do you remember when there was a time when people wouldn't want airports in their backyard because it'd be like, it's noisy? What happened to that? Like, these people are trying to live next to the airport here. So look, there's that space. You can open it up and that's really cool. I really like that. You got your egg chairs. My wife would love the egg chairs. And a nice bathroom, the bedroom to me looks a little small, but I think that's more because there's nothing in it. It's a modern look. We can, and then there's the garage. Now, my question is, if it's really at a airport hangar, where's that part? We keep seeing the same pictures. There you go. Is that the door for the airplane? And so that's a little dicey to me. Like, so if you need to park your airplane there, but you've made it into a basketball court, now you don't really have a basketball court. That's the back. There it is. Is that like next door to it? I don't know. It's pretty cool. Look, they got a pool. Oh yeah, I think it's next door. I think. Anyway, pretty cool, right? I think. Let's look at the next one. It's probably not going to be there at an airport. $2.8 million, $2.9 really, and they were at $3 million. 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, 6,000 square feet on a half-acre lot. Let's look at that. It's going to be tough. That other house was great. 147 pictures, 91 days on the market, 5-car garage. If you think I'm looking at 147 pictures, you're in. This isn't very bad. Unmatched elegance in the Soul Construction gem on Gemstone and highly sought-after gated Vasaro neighborhood in South Chandler. Custom millwork is in every room, and unlike anything you'll find in any other room in this home in this area, each door, cabinet, counter, and molding was custom designed and crafted specifically for this home. Far too many features to list here, so check the Documents tab. 4 oversized bedrooms with full baths, including a detached casita. 2 of the bedrooms are masters, each with master baths. The other rooms include a full home theater with stadium seating, exercise room, gigantic laundry room, executive office, 3 CG, I don't know what that means, 3-car garage, an attached RV garage. The home also has storage everywhere. Folding doors open to a resort-like pool with 2 water features, gas fire pit, Ramada. I don't know what a Ramada is. Built-in barbecue and dog. It says dog R. So listing 12/9/2021, and it's been on the market since then. Been relisted, but whatever. So that's nice, right? Maybe that's a Ramada. I should probably look at what a Ramada is. But here we go. We go through it, and there's nothing about it that's like, yeah, that screams $3 million. The front's nice. The interior is so nice. It's the curb appeal is kind of off on this house. And I don't know if they have an elevator, but I'm going to look at 50 pictures and I'm done. Okay? That's where I'm at. I haven't seen the kitchen yet. There it is. Okay, it's nice. I don't need to see their pantry like that. Seems wrong. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, 1.9 million, smaller house on a 1 acre lot, 4 beds, 3 baths. Let's kind of see what that looks like, right? 68 pictures, 54 days on the market, built in 2024, car garage, property history, just listed in January, so that's no big deal. Property details, not too big. Prepare to be amazed. Come and see this fantastic 4-bed, 3.5 bath residence now for sale, located on an oversized 1 acre lot with the potential for horse keeping. This is sure to be the home for you. Great curb appeal with manicured landscape and 4-car side entry garage. Inside, you'll find a spacious open floor plan with polished concrete floors, brick veneer wall, modern light fixtures, patio access with automatic door opener, and trending palette throughout. The chef's eat-in kitchen offers white cabinetry with crown molding, solid surface counters, mosaic backsplash, stainless steel appliances, and an island with a breakfast bar. Large den, perfect for an office or entertainment room. The primary bedroom features private outdoor access, a walk-in closet, an upscale en-suite with 2 vanities and designer touches. Well, like, I'm interested. Let's go take a look here. So, I mean, I don't understand the grass, first of all. No offense. Like, grass here during the winter turns yellow. This, I don't know if it does there or what, but that's not. No, that's pretty. There's your little outside kitchen. I love these spaces that combine the inside and outside. I just don't know about like the energy efficiency. I mean, if it's 120 degrees outside, they say, well, it's a dry heat. It's still 120 degrees. I mean, that air conditioner is going to be running a dry heat. Said that. Yeah, I did say that. That's true. I mean, we're 17 pictures in. I thought we were going to go look around the inside, and we just only saw like a couple pictures, and now we're back. These are birds, I think. We had a bird just die last night. It was terrible. Winter. R.I.P. Winter. I mean, it's a nice kitchen. I mean, when you do gray, I mean, the obvious color is red. I don't know why. You know, look at that. The kid has 3 televisions. Isn't that cool? I hope that's a kid. Let me ask you this. If you live in a $2 million house, do you really feel like a concrete floor is where you want to be? I'm just asking, like polished concrete, are you good with that? I'm a little confused by it myself. What if it cracks? That's a cool laundry room. I mean, I've seen a lot of laundry rooms, and so have you if you've been watching with me. Those are like heaters, but it's amazing to me that it would even be cold out there. But I'm not from the desert, you know? Like, I've never been out there. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Is that part of yours? It's a 1 acre property, but I'm not getting like a good sense of what my property is and what it isn't. All right, I'm heading out. Do we want to go over an article? It's 9:59. Let's do one article and go from there. Let me get rid of some email because it's not beneficial to me. Okay. Here we go. The risks of buying a house at the top of the market. Now, I think that's an interesting article, so I thought we could look at it. This is perhaps there's perhaps nothing scarier in personal finance than buying a house you might ultimately regret. When you're in a seller's market, which is currently the case in many parts of the country, you can be at more risk buying something you regret or that isn't a good financial decision. Right now, while it's not true everywhere, in the hotter markets across the country, there's a massive amount of competition between home buyers. Buyers are scooping up properties as soon as they hit the market, and there are often multiple offers on properties and bidding wars. That created a frenzied sense of desperation, which can lead people to make bad home buying decisions. In a healthy real estate market, there's usually around 6 months of unsold inventory, and that means it would take 6 months for all the houses on the market to sell at the current rate. Right now, the unsold inventory is less than half of that, and even lower in the hottest markets. Yeah, I would say that's true. It doesn't mean there aren't times when it's okay to buy at the top of the market. You just have to be mindful about what you're doing, and don't let yourself get caught up in the emotions of anything. And I think that's true, although buying a home is inherently emotional, and primarily. When you understand the risks and honestly assess your personal financial situation, the market, and each property you look at, you can lower the risk of buying a house at the top of the market. With that in mind, what are those risks? The potential of overpaying. That's right. The biggest risk of buying at the top of the market is that you're going to overpay. And that's true. With that very real fear, there's no way to know for sure if we're in an active bubble. And so no one knows when it will burst. Rising prices aren't a reason in and of themselves to not buy a home. But you need to make sure that you're in a financially comfortable position with a reliable income and healthy emergency fund. That's true. That's true. Think about your future plans. That's what I always tell my buyers is, look, we don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. We don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. Let's just worry about right now. Like, let's buy this house with the belief that you're going to live in it for 5 years or 10 years. That's where I'm at. And I don't think I'm not trying to sell someone that. That's just what I would honestly, let's say I had to buy a house today. That's what I would think, me personally. And then what is your financial situation? Finally, before buying a house at the top of the market or otherwise, you have to think about your financial situation. Yeah, I mean, is there a risk that your job and income could be affected if there's a recession? If so, you might want to rethink buying in a hot market. So if you don't have a government job, basically, you need to be worried. That's it. I mean, I think you don't have a choice sometimes. Let's say you're getting married and you want to have a house for yourselves. You got to buy. Doesn't matter if it's the top of the market or not. Just got to buy. So that's Article 1. Just checking the chat. Nothing. Really doing bad with the chat. Very sad about it. Next one. Housing affordability continues to fade in December. Now, this was written February 14th of 2022, so don't get mad at me. But it takes them a while to figure out all the numbers. So the December numbers wouldn't have even come out until probably the second week of January. So even then, now you've got from then until now, from basically January 15th. So it took a month for them to kind of comb the data. It says housing affordability conditions fade in December. Compared to 1 year ago, affordability declined in December as the median family income rose by 4.5%, while the monthly mortgage payment increased 22.5%. The effective 30-year fixed rate was 3.15 this December compared to 2.73 1 year ago, and the median existing home sales price rose 16% from 1 year ago. Now, I would like to know, even if family income rose by 4.5%, let's talk about the inflationary pressures we're having this January, this February, and see how that works. It says, as of December 2021, the national and regional indices were all above 100. Meaning that a family with the median income had more than the income required to afford a median priced home. This income required to afford a mortgage or the qualifying income is the income needed so that the mortgage payments on a 30-year fixed loan with 20% down payment account for 25% of the family income. The most affordable region was the Midwest, with an index value of 203, which is twice the index. Which would be a median family income of $87,000 with the qualifying income of $42,000. The least affordable region remained in the West, where the index was 112.1, with a family income of $94,000 and qualifying income of $84,720. South was second most affordable region, and then the Northeast was the second most unaffordable region. So that kind of wrote that interestingly. A home purchase was unaffordable for a typical first-time buyer intending to purchase a typical home. The typical mortgage payments on a 10% down payment loan on a typical starter home valued at $300,000. Who buys a $300,000 starter home? Rose to $1,224, an increase of $198 from a year ago. First-time buyers typically spent 25.6% of their family income on mortgage payments, making a home purchase unaffordable. A mortgage is affordable if the mortgage payment, principal and interest amounts to 25% or less of the family's income. So we're getting to the point where the houses are not affordable. Probably not good. Probably not good. So that's what I have on that. Let me go to this. Let me go to this. And let me just say, hey, thank you for watching. I know you guys watch later, which is strange to me, but it happens. My episode on the Mexican soccer snafu really, really resonated. There were many views, more than usual, which, I mean, there's not a lot of views, let's be honest. But anyway, I enjoy it. Hope you do too. Thank you for watching. Try to put a podcast together this afternoon. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm kind of busy. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.